Well, JR and Andrea, it's that time of year when the turkey fryers and space heaters come out and the holiday lights go up. And despite all the good times they also bring an increased risk of fire coming to your home. So on your side tonight, we'll take you closer to a house fire than you've ever been before and give you one free thing to do before bed that could save your life.
I woke up. My daughter was crying.
A Sumter police officer across town heard the call.
The call came out over the radio that there was a fire.
Officer Lamar Sparks raced towards the flame. It was his home with wife and baby inside.
She was screaming, and I can hear her screaming in the background, saying she can't get out, she can't get out.
Time was ticking.
Stuff was falling next to me, like the roof was falling. The smoke was billowing out of the sliding glass door.
Amy Sparks had just seconds to get her family out alive.
From the time that you see the fire, you may have a minute or less to make your own escape.
Camden Fire Chief John Bowers says it can take 5 minutes for firefighters to show up.
If you haven't removed yourself from your home within a minute, then chances of you surviving that fire are probably going to be very slim.
This time of year, the number of house fires goes up.
3, 2, 1, ignition.
We worked with the Camden Fire Department to show why, when a fire starts, it's a race against the clock. We decided to burn down a building representative of a home. Inside our mock-up, couches, a newspaper, and a space heater make this room just like one in your home this time of year. From our camera inside the room, you see once the curtains light, the flames spread quickly.
You have to imagine it takes a while for the fire to even be discovered by the homeowner. Then they have to be aware enough to call for help. The dispatch has to dispatch the fire department. The fire department has to get ready at the station and leave as quickly as they can. And then they have to respond to the call. So there's a lot of delay built into that response.
Even if you've already called 911, this is what happens to your home while emergency workers respond. In just seconds, curtains are engulfed in flames and fire has reached the roof. And take a look at the couch in the corner. Flames haven't touched the couch yet, but heat from the fire melts fabric and stuffing off the couch's frame. You might think flames are the most dangerous part of a house fire, but firefighters say thick black smoke is deadly.
Smoke inside of the building is what we worry about. Fire victims usually succumb to smoke long before flames ever get to them.
So we visited the training center where Camden firefighters learn to combat smoke. We started a small fire here. Smoke fills up the room quickly, rising to the ceiling and falling as the fire creates more and more smoke. This is what would happen in your home. Smoke would spread from the ignition point to every room. 2 Camden firefighters crawl across the room to keep the fire burning. But watch what happens. Just seconds after they start moving toward the fire, a veil of smoke falls around it. The firefighters can't be seen at all.
Most of the fire victims that I've seen that have died in fires have been just literally feet away from open oxygen, either a doorway or window, but they didn't make it. And this is in their own home, you know, the place they know the best.
Even feet away from safety, Bowers says smoke can blind you and take away breathable air, leaving you stranded without an escape. Just think if this was your home. Smoke and flames take over by the second. In under a minute, your home would look like this. Smoke billowing from every open hole, flames destroying everything in their path. Despite their fury, there's one thing you can do before bed tonight that could help you survive a fire like this. It's free, and we'll show it to you after the break on News 19. In under a minute, our house mock-up looks like this. If you were inside, you'd see flames destroying everything they touch, and thick black smoke making it not only harder to see, but harder to breathe.
The fire gets a good start before the firefighters even arrive on the scene.
Camden Fire Chief John Bowers says it can take as long as 5 minutes.
There's not a lot of new and inventive ways that people get in trouble. You see people fall into the same traps that they did last year and the year before. One of the things that cause a lot of fires are human mistakes. You put a pot on the stove, the phone rings, somebody knocks on the door, or you get involved in the soap opera that's on TV. So you get distracted, and that's a large cause of fires in the home.
But before a fire ever starts, there's something free you can do to give yourself more time to get out, and it all has to do with doors.
If you're in a situation where your house is open and all the doorways are open, the smoke is easily going to move from one compartment to the next, and it really reduces the amount of time that you have to escape.
Take a look at these 2 images side by side. The one on the left shows a room with no closed doors. You can see smoke flows quickly and freely throughout the room. Compare that to the one on the right. There's not nearly as much smoke. It shows how simply closing a bedroom door can act as a barrier. While it won't keep the smoke out completely, it will slow it down and give you more time to get out.
If you're in a home that's on fire, and let's say you're in a bedroom that has a closed door, that offers you a lot greater opportunity to escape.
It's free, something you can do right now, and if your house caught fire tonight, it could save your life. Chief Bauer says fire prevention is more of a routine maintenance kind of thing and not a one-stop shop. So on your side tomorrow, all day on News 19, we're going to be showing you things you may not know about a house fire and ways you can keep your family safe. It starts tomorrow at 6 a.m. right here on News 19. Well, JR, we've taken you inside a fire, and now on your side tonight, we'll show you what it leaves behind in hopes you'll make changes in your home to keep your family safe.
3, 2, 1, ignition.
Just 1 minute after we set our mock-up home on fire, flames had taken over. And once a fire's out, flames and smoke leave a trace. Combined with the effort to put out the fire, many times they destroy whatever they come into contact with. What once was a table lamp, now shattered, and a basket literally cut in half by the flames. And of course the couch, reduced by fire to a charred frame.
Most of the fire victims that I've seen that have died in fires have been just literally feet away from open oxygen, either a doorway or window, but they didn't make it. And this is in their own home, you know, the place they know the best.
That's because while flames look dangerous, firefighters say thick black smoke is deadly.
The fire gets a good start before the firefighters even arrive on the scene.
Camden Fire Chief John Bauer says that's why it's so important to have working smoke detectors in your home.
Number one is smoke detectors. Always, when we talk to the public, that's always first and foremost. A smoke detector is designed to protect you when you're most vulnerable. It's when you're asleep and you can't provide the optimal protection for you or your family.
But Bauer says people sometimes remove batteries from their smoke detectors and disable them, so the smoke detector doesn't provide any warning if a fire were to start.
Bauer says smoke detectors should be placed outside of every room and always have a working battery. And because it will take firefighters some time to arrive, that smoke detector could be the difference between life and death. JR?
If a fire like this one happens in your home, you have to move quick. It can be overwhelming, especially for the kids.
Every child should know how to get out of their house, where to go, where to meet, and what to do after that.
Should it be the neighbor's house next door?
Joshua Stout is a fire safety educator at Adventure. He runs an exhibit called Home Safe Home that's changing how families learn about fire.
A big part of the exhibit is actually making a home fire escape plan, which a lot of parents don't make for their kids. But it's absolutely tantamount to staying safe.
Stout says many kids think they know what to do in a fire, but actually don't.
If they say, oh, I know if there's a fire in my house, I need to stop, drop, and roll. No matter what, that's what they think they should do. And so what I do is, I said, no, that's what you should do if your clothes are on fire. What you should do inside of a house if your smoke alarm goes off is actually get out of the house. And they go, oh, I never thought of that.
Come on, everybody, go to the mailbox.
Many times, both kids and parents end up with an education on fire safety. The exhibit helps families plan and practice an escape.
The best way to overcome the instincts of kids, which is sometimes to either hide or run away, is to practice what to do if there is an emergency.
And that practice could mean you and the kids make it out of a house fire alive. At Adventure, Clark Foraker, News 19 WLTX.
When winter's coming on, we think more about heating-related malfunctions in heating units. We worry about space heaters and those type of things, but generally, all year round, cooking-related fires are always going to be up there high on the list.
Camden Fire Chief John Bauer says if a fire starts in your home, getting out and calling 911 should always be the first steps. But sometimes, if you catch a fire early enough, a fire extinguisher could save your home.
You need to have a fire extinguisher located outside of the heating and cooking areas. So in other words, you wouldn't want a fire extinguisher necessarily in the kitchen, because typically the kitchen, the stove is going to catch on fire because it was left unattended, and then you'll find that it's too hot to return to that area.
That's step one, making sure you store your fire extinguisher in the right place. Assuming you do, there's a correct way to use the extinguisher that will help you put the fire out.
We're going to use the PASS system. It's pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep.
Okay.
The key to using your fire extinguisher is going to be put the extinguishing agent as close to the base of the fire as you can.
Assistant Camden Chief Eddie Gardner says you should start between 6 and 8 feet away from the fire. Then pass, which stands for pull, meaning pull the pin out of the extinguisher. Aim, as close to the base of the fire as possible. Squeeze, so the fire-killing agent comes out of the extinguisher. And sweep, from left to right, to make sure you cover all of the flames.
Always keep your eyes on the fire until you're a safe distance away.
And of course, if the fire's too big for an extinguisher, get to a safe place and let the firefighters handle it. In Camden, Clark Foraker, News 19 WLTX.
News 19's Clark Foraker joins us now. And Clark, we saw your story that you did earlier this morning, and that video was so incredible. It's
incredible.
So scary how quickly a fire can
Seconds
spread.
really do matter.
They do.
It's one of those things where you think you're ready, you think you know how quick it's going to happen,
yeah.
But seconds. You know, the fire chief saying from the time you see a fire, under a minute. We'll be on the air doing this story right now for 2 or 3. You know, I mean,
right,
it's
exactly.
so fast. It's why we've taken you inside a fire and shown you just how quickly flames can take over. And if you're inside, Camden Fire Chief John Bowers says that you have less than a minute to get out. Just let that sink in. Remember, the fire department is minutes away. You have to get out of the house way before firefighters ever pull up. And remember, every fire is different, so depending on where it starts in your home, you may not be able to get to the kids or get to elderly that live with you. All that said, to make sure everyone gets out safely, there's one thing every family needs to have done.
Escape plans, making sure you know how to get out of your house, have a meeting place, encourage folks to call 911 immediately if there's a problem.
So escape plans, they are easy to come up with. It's more a matter of making sure everyone in your family knows what the plan is. Many families suggest meeting at the mailbox because it's not too close to the flames, but not too far from home. But guys, remember this. The first step, and it may seem kind of counterintuitive, is to get out, right? Don't call 911. If you see a fire in your house, just get out. Grab your phone on the way if you can, or go to a neighbor. Then call 911, because it is going to take the fire department time to get there,
right.
But that's not going to matter if you're in the house next to that dangerous fire. So step 1, always get out. But step 2, make sure everyone in your family knows that escape plan and has somewhere to go.
This morning, News 19's Clark Foraker asked you if you had an escape plan. He's here again today at noon with more information on why it's so important that as a family, everybody knows what to do if a fire breaks out. It's something that we've practiced with our girls over and over and over again.
Because not only is there a fire in the fireplace, but the turkey fryer's out, those holiday lights are going up, you're cooking for Thanksgiving, it's that time of year. So the Camden Fire Chief John Bowers showed us, we showed you last night, how quickly a fire spreads. He also wanted to show us what happens if your home or business happens to have sprinklers in it and how those can really come in handy. We showed you last night what the fire can do. Take a look. This is a room, of course, did not have a sprinkler in it. In under a minute, our mock-up up in flames. But take a look at this. We lit a second room on fire, this time a sprinkler that automatically sprays water on a fire when it detects one. And our mock-up, it didn't take long for that sprinkler to turn on. Look at the left side of your screen, that lamp still intact. Just obvious how much of this home was saved.
In the long run, it's going to add very little cost to a newly constructed home. And the life savings potential is just so much more than any other type of protections that we have known to us now.
Bowers say he thinks this is the future and realizes adding sprinklers to already existing homes might be comprehensive. He says, though, the systems are much more cost efficient than they used to be and can sometimes be less than $2 a square foot. He thinks when it comes to new construction, Darcy, sprinklers are a no-brainer. And if you want to see how we got all of this video, how we got those cameras so close to that fire, it really shows how dangerous they are, head to WLTX.com. We have a behind-the-scenes photo gallery that one of our photojournalists took a bunch of still pictures. Very cool to see how those cameras are in there and just see some still photos of what this fire does. It will make you sit down with your family and make sure you're prepared.